When that happens, just indicate to me and then answer them. When their time is done, I'll ask you, do you want to clarify any other issue? Then you can use my time to clarify. We're together, né? Both department and MICT. Honorable Khabo, I don't know where's my other phone. This one doesn't make noise. I want this one. This one makes enough noise. So this one is a bit shy. So your 12 minutes interactive thing starts now. Yeah.
No, thank you very much, Chairperson. Let me start by appreciating the reports that has been presented, both on resolutions of young people whom we cannot deny the fact that they are the future of this country. And if we were to confirm that in practice, we should be declaring, Chairperson, as a portfolio committee, and our unconditional support for the recommendations that has been presented, especially on two or three critical things, Chairperson. The support on the implementation of the GBV approach and on how we should be able to assess the interventions that we are making. Secondly, the process that you have also reflected on, Chairperson, how the department must structure or impose an approach of resolving student accommodation. It has been proven over the years that government support will not be enough. So the department, to a large extent, must have a structural approach on how to deal with the triple PE in resolving the student accommodation. And subsequent to that, Chairperson, agree that we should reconvene as a portfolio, not only to address the issues raised by the public protector, but also to align the recommendations, especially on what is expected from us as a portfolio committee. So with that being said, Chairperson, I just wanted to declare our support for the recommendations that has been provided by the Youth Parliament in particular, and commit on developing plans to make sure that all the relevant authorities or individuals, including department, are responding as expected. So we should be expecting a report from the department in relation to those 2 or 3 issues. One being the issue of the GBV and the reporting format and the way of assessing the impact that we are making. Because we have argued that convening engagement is one thing, but making a proper assessment on the impact that we are making, it's important. But central to that, we have linked the gender-based violence to lack of student accommodation. In most rural areas, you'd find that these unaccredited student accommodation are located in rural areas, whereby in most cases the security of our learners are compromised. Now, if a department would have a structural approach on dealing with the issue of student accommodation, we'll be addressing 2 issues at a go: the shortage of student accommodation, but also the student security that is at stake. So that is our commitment to that process. Now, going straight to the issues, probably I would firstly ask my questions to the department, firstly appreciating the report presented by the acting CEO. The report indicates that, or the presentation indicates that MICT was assigned with the ICT shared service mandate in 2020. And I would like to check with you from the department, is there any MOU between the department and MICT detailing the implementation of this learner information management system? Would be my first question. That way, because I develop my questions from your responses. So you must be careful of your responses.
Thank you, Chair. The report I have is that there is an MOU. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, there is an MOU between the department and MICT.
When was the MOU signed? And I would want to check, is it specifically speaking to the implementation of the ILMS?
I request my colleague that deals directly with it to respond, Chair. With your permission.
Through the chairperson in his absence. The MOU was signed in 2026, the current financial year.
So between 2020, the official mandate, let's say the pronouncement was made in 2020. The official signing of MOU only happened 6 years later. Is that how I understand you?
Yes. The SETA was assigned to assist with developing the system, and then given the implementation plans and the specifications, also to assign the SETA with specific responsibilities. Then there was a need of the MOU which will deal with that.
Thank you. So this MOU that we are talking about of 2026, was it signed by the acting CEO or by the former CEO? Remember, you are still caught up in that quagmire of leadership. So who signed that MOU?
I will request the SETA to help me on that, but I know that from the department side, it was signed by the DG. If the SETA colleagues can confirm who signed from the SETA side.
Through you, Chair, if CEO.
Okay, thank you. I will hand over to our legal manager, legal and compliance, Ms. Mulawe. Please, if you can provide support. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Honourable Member. The MOU that we have on record is for the continued support and collaboration insofar as wider systems development for the department, not necessarily specific to the ILMS, but obviously the ILMS is a system, therefore it would be covered. So it's for overarching supports. Thank you, Chair. Member.
So while we are still there, our legal person, does the MOU speak directly to the implementation of this learner information management system? Does it also expand your scope of you bringing other 21 SETA, all these SETAs? Does it define the modality on how this project would be implemented?
As indicated, it may be covered, but the granulars you speak of and broken down in that perspective, it may not be that refined. However, there is coverage. Thank you.
So it's safe to conclude that the MOU that you are referring to is generally a broad MOU that speaks of the department committing its support to MICT, but it does not specifically deal with the implementation of the learner information management system.
Yes, the granular specifications may not be there in the
Okay.
MOU. Yeah.
This MOU, remember, the pronouncement was made in 2020, and we've just been told that the MOU has just been signed in 2026. My question is, who signed the MOU? Was it the former CEO or the current acting CEO? And when was it signed in particular?
Chair, we will request to either furnish that in writing or be given an opportunity to consult into the actual dates of conclusion and whether it was concluded by the former CEO. Can we be given an opportunity to consult on that?
I don't have a problem. While I'm directing the other question to the other respondent, you can check that information for me. So department, ICT obviously is a shared service. Now, on the absence of the MOU for the past 5 years, what has been the legal authority of MICT acting on behalf of the department, particularly dealing with the shared service?
So, I'm IT, so I'm not really the right person to respond, but I guess since it's an IT question, On my arrival at the beginning of the year, the program or the investigations as to the level of effort required in restoring the MIS systems was underway. To which point we have now developed an MIS charter. Which,
Sorry, can I assist you?
Yeah.
What is the legal basis of MICT acting on behalf of DHET on a critical shared service when MICT does not have any MOU to implement that shared service on behalf of Department of Higher Education? So my question to Higher Education is, what has been the legal authority of MICT acting on behalf of DHET when there is no, they don't have such a local standing legally? It's a shared service. That responsibility lies with you. If you are to instruct them that they must develop a system that must be implemented across all 21 SETAs, that MOU must be there and must clearly define the terms of references. So I'm asking you, now that you have confirmed that there has not been any MOU for the past 5 years, and MICT in their presentation, they have indicated on how this service they have implemented, including on different SETAs. So my question is, what is the legal basis?
So,
Remember the MOU is
Okay.
that legal prescript
yes.
that gives you, that defines every process. And that's why I wanted the legal person to clearly define as to whether we're speaking of a broad MOU defining our relationship of cooperation, or do we have a separate MOU speaking specifically to the implementation of learner information system? Because that is a separate matter.
I was speaking outside of legal, sir. So noted that you want the legal linkage. So I'll refrain from responding then.
I was trying to assist you because we are venturing into a space that is not aligned to your space of operation. So we would want the legal department to tell us, while the legal team of MICT is also getting clarity as to when was it signed, who signed it, was it presented before the accounting authority or the board, is it the current board or the previous board? But while they are getting us that information, let's get clarity from the parent. You see, you've got a child here who has acted under the instruction, and legally the instruction must be retained. So I want to understand from you, what was the basis? Thanks.
All right, thank you, Chair. So information we have, there would have been a directive from the executive authority, and which gave the directive, at which point it's, if the committee would allow us to verify, saying that what we do have information on is that there would have been a directive from the executive authority, and the processes that unfolded between the directive to the point where the MOU was ultimately signed. If the committee would allow us to just verify that and then submit back the response, we would appreciate it greatly so that we do not mislead the committee.
Chairperson, I would vehemently oppose such a response and request that the team present us with a response now, because it would be useless of us to appreciate the good work and the benefits of implementing this system when it has some legal issues. We are speaking about an MOU that is not clear. And on the presentation, there is part of it that speaks about the IP ownership. We don't know if indeed there is an MOU between MICT and TUT. Because my understanding is that the basis of the MOU between MICT and TUT should be informed by the sister or the principal parent, which is DHET. And DHET here says that it does not have an MOU. It has just signed the MOU in 2026. MICT has been implementing this program. In between, there is a legal issue there. Who would take control and ownership of that process? Are we not going to have a situation at a later stage of us fighting over the information, especially when the control and management of that information is not clear from an MOU point of view? So it is for that reason, Chairperson, I would want to reject this view. I would request them to respond now, because I've deliberately only focused my questions on 3 or 4 issues on the legality, because I know very well, and that's why currently there is a legal problem between MICT and TUT. On the basis of how are they intending to implement this project. One of it is who's going to control, who's going to own this IP. And they cannot explain to us when we do not have a clear explanation from the department. That would be my point of departure, and plead with your conscious, Chairperson, that let's allow them to present, and maybe later we must look into this thing. Because in all honesty, the program is good. It's yielding good results, but the question is control and ownership. Currently in Madlanga, we are fighting over the control and ownership of the IP system of the police in South Africa. And that has exposed some weaknesses in terms of our internal controls. And that's what we are trying to expose here in the department, that the department would want to rely on a political pronouncement when they know that there is an administrative process that needs to be followed. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you. Tate Kuzwa, do you have a response?
I wanted to appeal to the chair to say, can you allow us to quickly check in the background so that we can provide a proper response before we even leave from here. Thank you.
You're also pleading with the conscience of the chair. And Khabo says he's pleading with the conscience of the chair too.
To the power of 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to indicate that this discussion was as a result of the meeting that was held on the 12th of October 2021, when the Auditor General came to brief us about 10,000 or so duplicates where in the system there was a service provider claiming money for at least 3 students who had passed away at some point. Mara, the service provider, because they are supposed to have a register, hence what register. The person or the 3 people who had passed away, they were also signing the register. So maybe they were waking up at the graveside to go sign the register and go sleep again. And the AG indicated that, there were those who were funded, some by the SETAs and NSFAS, some by the SETAs and NSF. And so there were a lot of duplications, and that is why that meeting of the 12th of October 2021, after that meeting with the AG and the department and the minister, resolved as a committee that to arrest this problem, there must be one integrated system to resolve these problems. Now, what Honorable Khabo is asking is, did you guys formalize the instruction, which I believe we were briefed in the committee that was done. So it's just a matter of getting that particular documentation. How I understood the acting CEO when she was presenting, she said there are legal conversations that they are having with TUT on the issues of the ownership of the IP. The proposal in her presentation was that they are looking at shared IP ownership. I think that's what she had said in her presentation. which I don't think it's well, I don't know how you are going to resolve that one when certain aspects, according to your presentations, were done with UJ, with VUT, with DUT, and I thought maybe the easiest proposal at the beginning would have been that we own the IP and we go to other institutions in the system because of the expertise to assist us with this problem. And if it means we must pay, we pay for those services. But the IP is owned internally. And I don't doubt the integrity of our institutions. But we will be dealing with hundreds towards millions of people's data on this system. And therefore, it was always going to be easier if it's owned by one entity. If it's two and then we're told data is leaked, person A says, it must have leaked from person B. It was giving access to different SETAs and, you know, so please do get that documentation so that we're able to respond to the legal part of it. It's a system that indeed we do welcome, but maybe let's clarify those few things. Honorable Nguban. Yeah. Yeah, from legal.
It's a request from legal that we should give them 5 minutes to give us a response.
Yeah, the 5 minutes you did not have at the time.
No, that's when we went out, Chairperson.
No,
and
no, I
I
was there.
redirected my question to the
No,
department.
I was here.
Okay.
I was here when you said they must look for it while you go to the department. And we must do all of that within our time frame. And when the alarm sounds, you are now at the mercy of the chair. Do you have the answer there?
Thank you, Chair. And Member Khabo, we have consulted insofar as this MOU. As previously indicated, it is an overarching support MOU between ourselves and the department, and it would have been concluded by the former CEO. Insofar as the granulars and modalities of the ILMS, that may not be necessarily covered in that MOU. Thank you.
Okay, I'll give you a follow-up. I know you have a follow-up. I'll give you a follow-up. Let me just give other members. Honorable Nguban.
Yeah, Chair. Thank you very much, Chair. But Chair, it's clear on the same question by Khabo that the department doesn't take serious the issues raised by AG. First and foremost, the legal is telling about an overarching agreement, so which means it's not really speaking to this ILMS, which is a critical issue. You'll find that on that overarching agreement, there is one line that speaks about ILMS. So we can probably suspect that there isn't a specific agreement or MOU related specifically to ILMS on a granularity of the data ownership and what needs to be delivered and all those stuff. So that's a suspicion first and foremost. And again, Chair, you remember last year we asked the DG to issue a directive to all SETAs so that this process of integrated system be enforced. And this thing was started 20 years ago, and 6 years down the line on 2026, it's where there is this legal MOU signed as well. So to me, it's clear that it looked like the department is not serious about this ILMS or they don't take serious the criticality that of issues raised by the AG. You will see the pace at which the DHET is doing. 5 years, 10 years down the line, we won't have this integrated system. So my question is that why the department doesn't issue the directive to instruct other SETAs. You know why, Chair, we need a directive? Other SETAs are running their own systems, paying their own service providers. Now, to part with that contractual obligations, it's not going to be just an easy work. They will keep on ducking and diving and prolonging time, renew contracts with their service providers, because it's a choice. If I want to, I will do it. For now, I'm still comfortable with me and my service provider doing my one-on-one IT stuff. That's the lack of the enforcement or the fatherhood from the DHET to tell the SETAs that I'm instructing you to comply within this specific date. By then, if there is any contract that is finishing, don't renew it, move it to the ILMS. So the question is that why, as the department hasn't issued a directive, since you won't get the willing voluntary participation, why hasn't that been done in the department?
Can I, with the permission, Chair, ask my colleague to support?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Let me firstly make a correction on how I had responded to the question by the Honorable Member. The MOU was signed in March 2025 by the DG and the former CEO. I want to correct that. I said it was signed this, it was signed last year. With regards to the MOU that was signed, it clarifies the roles and responsibilities of the two parties. I will want you to read 1 or 2 lines from the MOU, highlighting what it entails.
Yeah, because it will take time to read it if we can get the lines as the document.
Okay, that is page. I'm quickly perusing it.
Now, while you are looking for
Go to page
Oh, okay.
4 and 5. Page 4 makes provision of what the department's role will be, and then page 5, the role of the MICT SETA. No, the page 4, page 5.
Of MOU, ne? Yeah, while we're reading, can I proceed asking other questions, or because time is going?
Maybe so clause 4.2.
Thanks, Chair. And then the MICT SETA, the plans for integration with the NSFAS. What are the plans for integrating this system with NSFAS to solve other issues embedded as well on NSFAS?
Thank you, Honourable Member. Acting CEO, maybe you can provide some support there. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Ngubane. At this time, there are no plans to integrate with NSFAS. We are currently working on the primary integration.
Please take the volume up.
I was saying that at this time, we're working on the primary integration of making sure that we integrate the Department of Home Affairs into the system as it currently sits and the projects that are already there. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. The other biggest challenge, the progress on the IP issues, given that both the TUT and MICT are state entities. So what are the plans of ownership? You can't go live and go all the way, implementing, planning, developing, go production, live with the system, when you still haven't finalized it. Who's the owner of the system? Who's the one at the end that takes responsibility of the blame, the fall, the damages, the complaints of the system? So what's the status of that? Who's the owners of this system? What are the copyrights, Who takes the blame of everything? You can't continue with this parallel where the ownership is still in limbo. So what's the status on that?
Chairperson, so it was reported in the presentation that while there are those issues that are being ironed out, but the ministry is working with the TUT and the SETA as per the recommendation that was made that at a political level, given that TUT is part of the PSET system. So the ministry has taken up that responsibility to ensure that that legal issue is resolved. We will be able to bring back the update on the intervention thereof.
Yeah, so we appreciate the feedback on you guys involving the ministry to resolve the problem. But the question is, as we speak now, what is the status?
See, okay. Just-
Thank you, Honorable Member. Were you asking what is the status of the onboarding
No, who owns?
of the IP? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We did indicate in the presentation that there are engagements currently between ourselves, our legal team, and the TUT team. There are a few areas that needed to be clarified on this matter. And I think we can also acknowledge that at the beginning of this project, there was sort of a gap in terms of finalizing the IP issue. So from that perspective, I think for us it was a learning curve to make sure that we tighten it. And also with the other similar projects that we have with research chairs, we have subsequently tightened on the IP agreement. So the only one that is outstanding will be with the TUT currently. And we are having structured engagement. This is an urgent matter on our side because the success of this project currently hinges on it. So it is taken as a priority. The board has prioritized it. Even as part of our engagement from the session, that is a key part of it, Chair.
Who owns it now?
Who owns it? We are in discussion. We don't have a clear
Oh, there's
owner.
no one.
We are, yes.
So
we
there's
are.
no one. It's,
in the last meeting we engaged TUT, the council was also there. The agreement was a co-ownership.
also, there's an agreement.
Yes. There is, but it's not finalized because there are issues that must be resolved. But the principle is the co-ownership
Okay.
model.
Okay.